when you do a drawing, and this is, I want to make this clear, this is only one technique, but this is called using the rule of thirds. And this is the idea that if you have a drawing or a page or photograph or any visual image, if you cut it up into 9 equal squares, now again, my lines are a little bit off, but 3 by 3, and you divide it up equally, then you're going to get these points here. And these are the points where you want to kind of have most of your action happening. So most of your big things that are in your shot should be happening around those areas. So an example of that would be classic two-shot, when you have characters over the shoulder. You have one character here, that's their head, you just can't see the back of their head, and then the other character is here, and they're chatting. And you see that all the times in movies and TV and everything. And then you'd have the reversal shot to that. So you just have two people talking, but they're both on these lines, and this head is on this line here. You could say that the shoulder's on this line here. But framing is the idea of using something within the image to give the focus of your image a natural border, okay? So that can be something, that can be anything really. But it could be as simple as the entire drawing is looking through a window, So you're, as the viewer, are looking through a window out onto, a city or a river, the ocean, whatever. And, you have candles going on here. Maybe there's curtains blowing in the winds, and you're looking out onto the bay, and this is all just nice old, a nice old window frame. So that's a framing device. What you're doing is you're using the natural frame of the window to frame the outside and give it some sort of structure. So that's a very formal kind of way of doing things. So you'd have a tree, and that's going to be framing the whole image. And so if you were to think about then on top of that, then you're trying to combine some stuff, the rule of thirds, you might want to have your focal point right here, whatever that might be. So maybe, this is a tree, it's in the foreground, so it's nice and close to camera. Maybe this is an abandoned house or something. Used to be a castle or something like that, but it's all just decrepit now. It's all falling on the ground, and that's off in the distance. And then there's mountains in the background or something like that. So again, very rough and ready, but just this idea of using a another object within the drawing to frame it. And it could just be there's something kind of lying in front of the viewer's eyes, and then they're looking out onto the world. There's something in the very far distance, and then there's also something here. So sometimes I'll even sort of draw off and it'll be kind of abstract. I'll just be putting in shapes, and then later on I can work out what those shapes are. So for instance, this, I just started making shapes, but now I'm thinking, okay, what if this is a lake and this is a hand railing? And you as the viewer are looking out over a balcony. And this is a big lake, and in the background, this could be a city or it could be a forest or something like that. And maybe there's mountains behind it. Okay, but there's stuff going on there, and then you can start thinking about the rule of thirds. So you got the banister or the railing is kind of coming in on this third. Have a focal point here because we want to have something on this third, and just think about it like that, just trying to hit those sort of marks. And that leads us on to our next point, which is focal points. So every drawing should have at least one focal point, and it's just the main thing that you want your viewer to look at. So obviously it can be absolutely anything, but there should be something in your drawing that you say, okay, that's the focal point. That's the most important thing that I want the viewer to look at. Okay. So again, and focal points would tend to be on one of those 4 points around there anyway. You know, it doesn't have to be exactly on it. This is just a guide, it's not a rule, but it just helps with some of your composition issues. So maybe that's your focal point there, and then there's something else going on here. Maybe something's framing it here, and then in the background we have some other stuff, maybe just something hidden there. So again, like, I don't really know what these are. These are just quick doodles, kind of working a little bit abstractly, just trying to get in some shapes that I like. Like so far, this one is the one that I like the most out of all these. I think the railings are a really good way to frame the drawing. And then, you know, I think a nice open mid-ground, that's going to be a lake, and then in the background, I think I'm going to have this as a forest, but then also have some big building right there that's going to be imposing and looking down.